Sunday Church of Gratitude event will be more of a community gathering event where we reflect on our week and are in celebration together of what we've had and our week to come. I might go a little bit faster than usual in this particular podcast, but rest assured this format will continue to bloom into a relaxed and insightful as well as entertaining status, if you will. That's my objective here, and I'm open to feedback until I can reach the best possible quality. And I know that will require daily practice. So, without further ado, let's jump into the transcript here for Chapter 1, The Spirituality of Gratitude. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Gratitude City. I'm Abraham Kaboomski, your host, and today we're stepping into a dedicated space exploring the profound and unifying power of gratitude through a slightly different lens. Welcome to the Church of Gratitude City. In a world that often highlights our differences, here within the Church of Gratitude, we celebrate the universal principles of goodness that form the bedrock of a truly flourishing life. Regardless of your background, your beliefs, or your journey, there's a common thread that binds us all: the innate capacity to recognize and appreciate the good that exists around us and within us. Gratitude, you see, isn't tied to any specific religion or dogma. It's a fundamental human experience, a natural response to kindness, to beauty, to the simple gift of being alive. Think about it for a moment. Whether you call it grace, karma, divine favor, or simply good fortune, that feeling of thankfulness resonates across every culture and every walk of life. I know a lot of those words have different meanings in their own language, and working with AI to share our vocabulary, I know from experience that something like karma is nothing like gratitude. Considering the translation of karma in English, the definition is the momentum, the movement of our memories, the momentum of memories. That is karma. So gratitude definitely could have an effect on karma and these things. So we'll continue to evolve and culminate our vocabulary as we go throughout the season. Feeling the thankfulness that resonates across every culture and every walk of life, and practicing that to the best of our ability daily, and finding ways to express that and to cultivate that within our community in Gratitude City and here in the Church of Gratitude that is a part of Gratitude City as a global sanctuary to the world. In Gratitude City, we offer a non-denominational sanctuary, a space where you can collectively explore how cultivating this powerful emotion can enrich our lives and contribute to a more harmonious world. We believe in the inherent potential for good within every individual and we see gratitude as a key that unlocks that potential. So, as we embark on this spirituality of gratitude study, let's set aside any preconceived notions and open ourselves to the simple yet profound truth. Gratitude is a universal language, a foundational human experience that can guide us all towards a life filled with more meaning, joy, and connection. Chapter 2. Gooby's Universal Search. So let's delve into the story of Gooby. Some of you already know it. For years, Gooby dedicated himself to the pursuit of knowledge, immersing himself in the intricate world of neuroscience before becoming a YouTube star. He pored over textbooks, spent countless hours in laboratories, and ultimately achieved a significant milestone. He became a neurosurgeon. Think about that level of dedication, the years of intense study, the responsibility of holding someone's life in your hands. By all outward standards, Gooby had reached a pinnacle of success, a position that many would view with admiration and perhaps even envy. He had a PhD. He was a neurosurgeon. He was literally doing spinal surgery and on occasion brain surgery. He found out quickly, though, that the success rate was a little bit different than what he would have hoped. And he had taken the Hippocratic Oath, a solemn promise to heal and to help heal. Yet, as the time passed, a profound unease began to settle within him. Despite his medical expertise and the procedures he performed, Gooby started to feel a growing sense of disconnect. He questioned the long-term impact of his interventions, wondering if he was truly addressing the deeper needs of his patients or simply managing their symptoms. This realization this realization led to a growing emptiness, a feeling that despite his accomplishments, he hadn't truly made the kind of difference he had hoped for. This internal conflict eroded his sense of pride in his work, and in turn made it difficult to even feel grateful for the very skills and knowledge he had painstakingly acquired. Imagine dedicating your life to a path only to discover that it leaves you feeling unfulfilled at your core. This is the crossroads where Gooby found himself. He made a courageous decision, a retreat. He left the sterile environment of the hospital and sought solace in the vastness and quietude of the mountains. There, surrounded by nature's grandeur, he began to ponder the deeper questions of life, of purpose, and ultimately of what truly mattered. Now, this quest for meaning, this yearning for a sense of purpose that fuels genuine gratitude, is not unique to Gooby. It's a deeply human experience. A thread that weaves through countless spiritual traditions and philosophical inquiries across the ages. We all, in some way, strive to understand our place in the world and to find something that resonates with our deepest selves, something that makes us feel truly alive and thankful for the opportunity to exist. And this brings us to the powerful concept of future gratefulness, a perspective championed by the insightful Wallace D. Wattles, who you may already be familiar with now also from this podcast. Fairly unfamiliar name in the world. but one we need to share. Wallace suggested that by focusing our minds on what we will be truly grateful for in the future, the impact will make, the person will become, we can actually cultivate a sense of purpose and drive in the present that leads to profound fulfillment. I'm grateful for the producer that I will become by the end of this year by hosting Gratitude Podcasts daily and culminating the research needed to write transcript after transcript and the health and wealth of rich benefits that I'll discover in mind and body and spirit by focusing on this endeavor this year. And focusing our minds on what we will be truly grateful for in the future. The impact will make, the person will become. We can actually cultivate a sense of purpose and drive in the present that leads to profound fulfillment. Gooby, in his mountain retreat, began to tap into this by envisioning a future where he was genuinely making a difference, where his actions were aligned with a deeper calling. He started to rediscover a sense of direction and a burgeoning feeling of gratitude for very for the very possibility of that future. Now, at this point in the journey, in our journey, it's natural to have some questions, maybe even some skepticism. Our inner Conan O'Brien might be chiming in, asking if simply focusing on enough future gratitude is enough. And that's a valid point. It's important to acknowledge those initial doubts and questions as we delve deeper into this exploration. But as we continue, we'll see how this idea of aligning with a future sense of gratitude can be a powerful catalyst for change and a key to unlocking a truly meaningful and thankful life. Chapter 3: How Gratitude Illuminates the Spirit of Servitude. Now, as Kubi begins to reflect on what truly brings him a sense of gratitude, he starts to notice a pattern. The moments he felt the most genuinely thankful weren't tied to personal accolades or material possessions, but rather to time when he felt he had truly served others, when he had made a positive impact, no matter how small. And this, I believe, reveals a fundamental truth about gratitude at its core. It shines a light on the essence of goodness, which so often stems from acts of service. Think about the times you felt truly grateful. Was it when someone went out of their way to help you? When you witnessed an act of kindness? These moments often involve someone extending themselves, offering their time, their energy, their resources for the benefit of another. This is the spirit of servitude, not in a subservient way, but in the sense of actively choosing to contribute to the well-being of others. And when we act in this way, when we actively serve those around us, something remarkable happens. It inspires thankfulness. Our actions give others a reason to be grateful, and in turn, their gratitude often circles back to us, creating what I call a gratitude loop. I believe actually Joe Dispenza may have mentioned that, so do not coin that on me. It's just AI trying to organize data from 20 sets of our friends and giving me credit sometimes just because I got a few ideas up here. The gratitude loop, that's the healthy give and take that leads to more goodness and more goodness and more goodness. where we share our gratitude back as we receive. And so that's our giving back. Even if we have nothing physical to give, we can give gratitude. This isn't just a feel good exchange. Science is increasingly showing that this loop has profound and tangible health benefits, reducing stress, boosting our immune system, and fostering a greater sense of overall well being. This spirit of goodness, this drive to serve and uplift others, is a thread that runs through countless spiritual traditions, often embodied by figures who inspire us with their selfless actions. Think of the Christ-like figures across different faiths, individuals who dedicated their lives to compassion, love, and service, guiding others beyond suffering and towards a sense of purpose and healing. They didn't seek to prolong pain or offer temporary fixes. Instead, their actions served as a powerful reference point, a mirror reflecting the potential for humanity to transcend its challenges through empathy and service. Consider the very foundation of many societies. In the United States, we pledge of allegiance to one nation, indivisible under God, with liberty and justice for all. Now, in our interconnected world, amplified by social media, that ideal can sometimes feel fractured. Yet the foundational principles remain. Let us consider God in this context as our higher self, that inherent potential for goodness that resides within each of us. If gratitude resonates so deeply with us today, it's because it aligns with that higher self, that inherent good. What is perhaps one of the most fundamental stories of goodness that transcends cultures, even time? The story of the Good Samaritan, someone who went out of their way to help a stranger in need, offering aid without any expectation of reward. Doesn't this narrative perfectly parallel a Christ-like vision of goodness, of spreading gratitude through selfless action and extending help simply because it is the right thing to do? If we set aside our religious differences and we look at the virtues and the values that we share, that we cultivate based on the principles that we have discovered in our life, in our environment. Those of us who have discovered the spirit of servitude, fueled by gratitude, this is a powerful force that can truly transform our lives and the world around us. Chapter 4, Abraham, a legacy of unity. Now, as we continue our exploration into the unifying power of gratitude and goodness, I want to touch upon something deeply personal, yet so profoundly universal: the significance of the name Abraham. My given birth name, first, middle, and last, you see, it translates upon the dawn of Google, I realized this, to first industrious leader of the good, or father industrious leader of the good. So I'm apparently the first or the father industrious leader, and then the last word, the meaning is of fortune, of faith, of wealth, but the primary translation in French is of the good, And a woman who translated that to me and said that there are no words to describe this last name. She said, "You are heroes, you are saints." And I witnessed the clouds part and tears streaming from her face as she got on her knees and kissed my hand. And that was very symbolic to me. I was not even able to show her the clouds parting. And to me, that was a miracle. Yet, to her, meeting someone with my last name, her being a native to the country of the origin of my last name, which is France. She knew the whole history, and I hope to one day discover my history further. Here in Gratitude City, I hope to be doing my best to culminate in the spirit of Abraham after discovering the meaning of my full name and how it is my destiny or my responsibility to be the first industrious leader of the good. And I hope that I can accomplish that within my lifetime, or even after, I suppose, if somehow, like Nikola Tesla, the things that I share will somehow have an effect even after I pass. That would mean something to me as well. This ancestral connection has always resonated deeply with me, and it has fueled my journey of seeking and sharing the principles we discuss here in Gratitude City. But beyond my personal connection with the name Abraham, the name Abraham holds immense significance across a multitude of world religions. In Judaism, Abraham is revered as as the first patriarch, the father of their faith, the one with whom God established a special covenant. Christians see Abraham as the spiritual ancestor of all believers, both Jewish and non-Jewish, a testament to unwavering faith and obedience. And in Islam, Abraham, known as Ibrahim, Ibrahim, I really like that pronunciation, is considered a key prophet, a link in the chain of prophets culminating in Muhammad, and a revered figure for his monotheistic conviction. Think about that for a moment. This one individual, this one name, is held in such high esteem by billions of people across diverse faiths. It speaks to a shared spiritual heritage, a common ancestor who, in his own time, embarked on a journey of discovering a connection with something greater than himself. The stories vary slightly across traditions, but the core essence remains. Abraham was a seeker in the spirit of adventure, a leader, and a figure who ultimately recognized and responded to a divine calling, a higher power. This resonates with the journey many of us undertake, the personal quest to understand the invisible forces that shape our lives, the energies and connections that go beyond the purely physical realm. Just as Abraham saw and found a connection to the divine in his time, each of us has the potential to tap into these deeper currents, to recognize the interconnectedness of all things. This realization often begins with a sense of wonder, an acknowledgement of the blessings and the opportunities that surround us, in essence, a feeling of gratitude. So, as we reflect on the legacy of ancient Abraham, let's recognize that his history, like our exploration of gratitude, points towards a fundamental unity, a shared human experience of seeking purpose, meaning, and a connection to something larger than ourselves. And in Abraham's case, just like Gooby's, what would make him grateful or make him proud turned out not to be what he would expect. And he had to follow that path of the highest self to discover what it truly was. It wasn't until he was 70 years old before he undertook the spirit of adventure and traveled the world. Went to Egypt. He called the Egyptian king out and said all these things that you put up there are fake, and those are all fake idols, and they don't actually represent true power. And apparently, they were planning to kill Abraham, and they had put him up on a pedestal. This is a tablet that Joseph Smith purchased from an Egyptian um, during an auction where there was an Egyptian artifact, um, which I'm not too familiar with. I have the Mormon book that shows an image like a circle, a wheel of the hieroglyphics. It looks like a Mayan artifact or something, but it's apparently Abraham's, and he apparently had uh, written it after the experience in Egypt, or someone else wrote it, and it seems to actually depict something that isn't really talked about much, even by historians. Yet there seems to be archival evidence that Abraham visited the king or queen. He visited the patriarch of Egypt at the time, and the this monarch of Egypt was told by Abraham that these shrines that you're having your community bow their knees to in worship, they're fake. They don't actually have any meaning. And apparently the leader said, I'm not going to listen to you. And I disagree with you, Abraham. And apparently was planning to kill Abraham. And apparently, from a story that um, is only correlated through Joseph Smith's interpretation at this point, but it alludes to very interesting philosophy of true highest self and first principle thinking of the highest self, where if you made like a golden cow and you're like a king of your friends and you told your friends, you said, here's this golden cow, if you get on your knees and bow to this golden cow, it will give you all the you'll receive the all the riches you've ever looked for your whole life. All you need to do is just worship this cow over here, and other than that, you don't have to you don't have to do anything but listen to me. I'm your king, and you just worship that cow away, and these golden figures, will take care of you for eternity. And apparently, Abraham came to this guy and was just like, "No, that's not how it works, bro. You can't just make some fake stuff up and put people on their knees and pretend that you're their omnipotent ruler when there's clearly something invisible in this reality that must have an effect that is greater than what humans have." And that's only really the divergence between Gnostics and agnostics. If you're Gnostic or anything past, then you may only fear things that are human or relatable at a human level. There may be awareness of aliens, etc., but the then the agnostic path assumes that there is an immediate higher self that can be communicated, that must be a mirror of the self that is somewhere else. And realistically, neither side is completely absent from power so long as the individual with the experience is seeking purpose, meaning, connection to something larger than themselves. But if they choose to worship a cow, they're not going to get the most out of life. And even if they find a king that seems cool, they will be burdened with the vision of the king and not the luxury of the true freedoms if they sought their own purpose. And perhaps that is the message that Abraham was there to share with the king, that the king was manipulating those people to alter their state of mind, to be conditioned to less free will, thinking they needed to go sit in front of this golden calf and pretend this or that, and then go back and work for the king when they probably still could have worked for the king, and then rather than wanting to worship the golden calf, made some, carved some walking sticks or built some houses for others and increased their own wealth while still appeasing the king. But some people, lead in ways that are manipulative and that put their own interests in the front. And I think that would have probably been the kind of thing that Abraham would have been warning those people about. And I'm not sure the story about how he survived, but apparently it was said there was some kind of miraculous act where others that were planning to decapitate him um, failed, and then the king himself apologized, and apparently his life was spared. Both Abraham's and the king's life were spared. In the version of the story that I heard. Now, total hearsay. Anyway, the objective here is, just recognizing his story, the exploration, and like in our exploration of gratitude, it points towards a fundamental unity, a shared human experience of seeking purpose, seeking meaning, and a connection to something larger than ourselves. And I think oftentimes, if we see something that someone else doesn't see, a way that someone else is being suppressed, for instance, then if we can go beyond ourselves to explain that to someone else, and they can understand and they can go beyond that, that's pretty awesome. This reminds us that even across different paths and beliefs, there are core principles like goodness and gratitude that bind us together. Chapter 5, the evolution towards gratitude. As humanity has evolved over millennia, so too has our understanding of spirituality and our relationship with the divine. However, we may define that. However, we may define that. If we look back at ancient systems and traditions, we often find a greater emphasis on strict rules, rituals, and sometimes even sacrifice as a means of appeasing higher powers or atoning for wrongdoings. These systems, while perhaps serving a purpose in their time, often operated on a framework of obligation and perhaps even fear. But as consciousness has expanded and our collective understanding has deepened, we've seen a gradual shift in focus across many spiritual paths. There's been a growing emphasis on principles like forgiveness, compassion, and love as the truest expressions of a connection with the divine and with each other. This evolution suggests a move towards a more heart-centered approach, one that resonates with our inherent goodness and our capacity for empathy. And where does that fit into evolution? And where does gratitude fit into this evolution? I believe it plays a pivotal role. Gratitude isn't about adhering to a set of rigid rules. It's about an internal state, a way of perceiving and interacting with the world. It naturally fosters feelings of appreciation, connection, and ultimately compassion. When we are truly grateful for the blessings in our lives, for the kindness of others, and for the very gift of existence, it becomes much harder to harbor resentment, anger, or judgment. Now, this spiritual evolution hasn't been a smooth or linear process. Throughout history, we've witnessed countless conflicts and divisions, often fueled by differing beliefs and a lack of understanding. This tension, this contrast between our potential for unity and our history of discord is important to acknowledge. It highlights the ongoing need for principles that can bridge these divides and foster harmony. I believe in gratitude in its purest form offers that bridge. I believe that the spirit of gratitude in its purest form offers that bridge to foster harmony. It's a universal language that speaks to our shared humanity, regardless of our individual beliefs or backgrounds. We can all recognize and appreciate acts of kindness, moments of beauty, and the fundamental goodness that exists in the world. By consciously cultivating gratitude, we move towards a more evolved state of being, one where understanding, compassion, triumph over division, one where understanding and compassion triumph over division and conflict. It's a powerful force for unity in a world that often seems intent on pulling us apart. Chapter 6: India, a land of enduring harmony. Something I'm very grateful to have discovered at a young age. Not really fitting in much in my own country, slowly learning about Eastern culture and Hindu culture, the culture of India and Southern India, discovering legendary characters like Sadhguru. To illustrate this point about the potential for diverse beliefs to coexist peacefully, I want to turn our attention to India. For millennia, India has been a melting pot of cultures and religions, a place where various faiths have not only coexisted, but have only flourished side by side. Consider the ancient city of Kashi, also known as Varanasi, with a history stretching back over 15,000 years. It's older than Egypt, it's older than Greece, it's older than Rome. Most people don't even know it exists. They probably didn't want you to, I suppose. Hopefully, not making anyone mad. This city stretches back over 15,000 years. It stands as one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities on our planet and is revered as the abode of countless deities. Sadhguru, in his teachings about Kashi, highlights its enduring spiritual significance and the fact that it has drawn seekers and pilgrims from all corners of the world for thousands of years. This very act of attracting such diverse spiritual journeys over such an extended period speaks volumes about the underlying tolerance and acceptance that has characterized the Indian subcontinent. From the early presence of various indigenous traditions to the arrival and integration of Buddhism, Jainism, Islam, Christianity, and many others, which we'll go into full detail on another Church of Gratitude podcast. Don't worry. This excites me so much. Sorry for getting so excited. I've only got a minute left here to record this right now, so I'll continue on in the present. India has consistently demonstrated a capacity to embrace a multitude of spiritual perspectives. This isn't to say that there haven't been periods of conflict, as in this case, in any human history, but the overarching narrative is one of a deep-rooted respect for different paths to the divine. Even Gautama Buddha chose Kashi as the location for his very first teachings, signifying the city's open and receptive spiritual environment. Buddha himself went to India, you guys, for his very first teaching. Christ is said to have went to this place after he was resurrected. It is said that he visited this city and 30 churches were built in his name. These yogis are amazing. Apparently Christ was a Buddhi and Buddha was a Buddhi, which means enlightened one. This enduring legacy of diverse spiritual practices living in relative harmony provides a powerful example of how different beliefs can coexist, a testament to a foundational level of tolerance that resonates with the unifying spirit of gratitude. India's historical tapestry serves as a compelling reminder that embracing diversity and fostering understanding are not just lofty ideals, but achievable realities that can be sustained over centuries. And perhaps when we establish a physical location for the Church of Gratitude, we can place our headquarters in the Golden City, the White City, the city of Kashi. Thank you so much, Sadhguru, for sharing your insights with me, sharing the inner engineering, which is a large foundational factor to what has led me to cultivating this experience here today that we share in the Church of Gratitude. Chapter 7: The Universal Embrace. As we've explored these various pathways and perspectives, a central theme emerges: the remarkable universality of gratitude. Regardless of your personal beliefs, the religious traditions you may or may not follow, or the specific cultural lens through which you view the world, gratitude remains a constant, a fundamental aspect of the human experience that fosters connection. Think about it. When someone expresses genuine thanks to you, does it matter what their specific faith is? The feeling of appreciation, the warmth of that connection, transcends those boundaries. Gratitude is a language that speaks directly to the heart, a non-denominational tool that allows us to connect with one another on a deeply human level through a shared recognition of the good in life. It doesn't matter if you subscribe to a particular religious doctrine or if you identify as a spiritual but not religious person, or even if you consider yourself an atheist or agnostic. Gratitude offers a comfortable and accessible space for everyone. It acts as a gentle guide, leading you inward, helping you cultivate an awareness of your own inherent worth and potential, what some might call your higher self. The Church of Gratitude, in its essence, is built upon this very principle. It is a sanctuary for self-discovery, a space where we come together not to preach a specific dogma, but to celebrate the incredible power of appreciation. We firmly believe in the inherent potential for good that resides within all life, and we are honored to share this space where individuals can explore that potential through the simple yet profound practice of gratitude. So, no matter your background or your journey, know that the embrace of gratitude is always open to you. It is a universal key that can unlock deeper understanding, connection, and a profound sense of well-being. Chapter 8: Future Gratefulness. Seeing Tomorrow's Blessings Today. Included with a self-hypnotist manifestation technique. All right, Gratitude City, buckle up because we're taking a time leap with a powerful manifestation hack. We've got some beautiful time. We've spent some beautiful time exploring the foundations of gratitude, Goopy's quest, the spirit of service, unity, our evolution, India's harmony, and the universal embrace of thankfulness. But now, let's not just be grateful for what we have, but for what will be in a general sense. Let's get specific. And not just in a general sense. Let's get specific and use our gratitude to actively shape our future. Here's the key. Think about something you already anticipate in the coming weeks. This is something I learned from a hypnotherapist on YouTube. Maybe it's a bill you know you'll have to pay, a project deadline at work, or even just your regular grocery shopping. Now take a moment and intentionally replace that expected thought with something you would be incredibly grateful for related to that situation. If you're not familiar with this hypnotism practice, there is a short where we highlighted that hypnotist. Pardon me for forgetting his name. So you take a moment that you expect and you intentionally replace that expected thought with something you would truly appreciate manifesting. For example, instead of just thinking, I have to pay that rent bill in 30 days, shift your focus and say to yourself with genuine feeling, I'm so grateful for the financial abundance that allows me to pay my rent easily and still have plenty left over for a spontaneous weekend trip. That weekend trip is your desired outcome, the blessing you're choosing to be grateful for in place of the expected obligation. Let's try another one. Instead of dreading that project deadline, affirm with gratitude. I am so thankful for the successful completion of this project, the positive impact it will have, and the extra time I'll have to spend with my loved ones afterwards. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's about intentionally focusing your energy and emotions on the positive outcome you desire. By feeling the gratitude for it now, you are essentially planting a powerful seed in your subconscious mind and in the universe, hypnotizing yourself to move towards that reality. Think about the future growth of our Church of Gratitude community. Instead of just hoping for more connection, let's affirm, I am deeply grateful for the thousands of new members joining our community, sharing their light, and creating an even more powerful force for good in the world. Feel that gratitude now. Breathe into it. See the difference? We're not just passively waiting for good things to happen. We're actively feeling grateful for them in advance, even replacing expected obligations with joyful outcomes. So, as we move into our final thoughts, let this technique be a powerful tool for you. Start replacing those expected thoughts with your future gratefulness affirmations and watch the amazing things that start to unfold. Gratitude affirmations in the future for the win. All right. As we reach our closing, chapter 8, pardon me, as we reach our closing with chapter 9, come home to gratitude. And so, as we reach the culmination of our spirituality of gratitude study today, I extend a heartfelt invitation to each and every one of you. Come home to gratitude. Embrace this powerful and universal force as a guiding principle in your life. Let it be the lens through which you view the world, fostering personal peace and contributing to a greater sense of harmony on our planet. This is the essence of the Church of Gratitude, an open and welcome sanctuary built on the simple yet profound truth that appreciation for the good in life can transform us individually and collectively. I am deeply thankful for the incredible growth and engagement we are seeing within this community. It fills my heart with joy to witness nearly 100 new individuals joining us every hour, to see almost 1,000 participants actively sharing and connecting in our live chat, and to celebrate over 100 subscribers now part of the new Church of Gratitude podcast family. The expanding reach of Gratitude City, of the community as a whole, is truly inspiring. I personally want to express my sincere gratitude for the unwavering support of my family and friends and the world around, for each and every one of you who tune in and participate, for those of you who have been with me since I started the podcast, or even on the Gratitude Reddit channel there for the last year, as we've been culminating somehow from 10,000 to 100,000. Grateful for the volunteers that have risen and helped to cultivate this community and keep it a healthy space where we can continuously express gratitude no matter what our cultural beliefs. And I'm grateful for the tools that enable this connection, from my computer and phone to Google Gemini and YouTube and all of the good things, everything in between, pen and paper, computer cords, keys, everything that enables me to go in and out of this experience and be able to culminate the city of gratitude and live through my everyday life and coexist in harmony here on planet Earth. Thank you. Now, you may have noticed a mention of Friday and Sunday gatherings in our index or on the podcast or in the chat. While I may not have specified any particular events because there's nothing exactly scheduled yet, for this initial podcast rollout, the intention behind this is to plant a seed, to build anticipation for the future of the Church of Gratitude, the future of the city of gratitude. Our city, our vision, is to create opportunities for deeper connection and shared experience within this community, and we are excited about what that future holds. seeing things as they bloom, as the spring begins and the winter slowly erodes away and opens the doors to the wondrous sunshine and the flowers that are already starting to sprout out, getting ready to bloom. Thank you for joining me today on this exploration into the unifying power of gratitude. May you carry this spirit with you throughout your week and always remember the profound impact of coming home to gratitude. May the force of gratitude be with you always. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Gratitude City. Remember, you can continue these conversations and share your insights on the community at Reddit, www.reddit.com/r/gratitude, or just type in gratitude on Reddit. You can visit our website at www.gratitude.city, subscribe to our podcast, support us in any way that you would like. Thank you for being here. Now have a wonderful weekend. A quick but important reminder, the information shared on the Gratitude City podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical or psychological advice. Always consult with a qualified healthcare professional for any health concerns or before making any decisions related to your health or treatment. Have a magnificent weekend.